A former casino slot technician just revealed which machines let your money last the longest, and what he shared contradicts everything casinos advertise. This insider information could make your $100 last hours instead of minutes, and it involves 11 specific machines most players walk right past. Machine number 1, Wheel of Fortune, quarter denomination. You've seen it in every casino, usually near the entrance with that giant spinning wheel on top. Most players assume it's just another flashy money drain, but former slot technician Mike Patterson spent 3 years servicing these machines and discovered something casino management doesn't advertise. The quarter denomination version runs an RTP between 88 and 90%, which sounds standard until you understand the volatility programming. And according to Patterson, these machines were programmed for frequent small wins rather than rare massive payouts. He documented how a player named Sarah fed $80 into one of these machines on a Tuesday afternoon and played for 6 straight hours, walking away with $45 still remaining. The hit frequency sits around 1 in 8 spins, creating constant reinforcement that keeps your bankroll alive. Here's what makes this significant. Unlike newer games designed around bonus chase mechanics, the older Wheel of Fortune programming prioritized session length over jackpot advertising potential. Internal reports Patterson accessed showed these machines kept players seated longer than almost any other game on the floor, which seems counterintuitive until you realize longer sessions meant more beverage sales, or more comp point accumulation, and players who left happier even when losing. The casino made money through volume and ancillary spending rather than aggressive bankroll depletion. But if you think Wheel of Fortune represents good value, wait until you hear about the next machine. Machine number 2, Double Diamond Classic 3 Reel. This is the game your grandfather probably played, the boring-looking cabinet with simple fruit symbols and no video screen. Former casino floor manager Rebecca Torres actually complained to her regional director about these machines because they didn't generate enough revenue per hour. The RTP runs between 89 and 91%, with extremely low volatility, and the average bet ranges from 75 cents to $2.25. According to Torres, wins appear every 5 to 7 spins on average, creating a steady drip of small payouts that keeps your balance relatively stable. She documented a retired player who tracked his sessions meticulously, recording a 4-hour playing period on $60 where he cashed out $52 at the end. Though internal casino reports Torres reviewed showed Double Diamond had the lowest hold percentage of any slot machine on her floor. The simplicity works in your favor because there's no elaborate bonus feature tempting you to keep feeding money while chasing free spins or progressive triggers. Torres revealed something that casino hosts never mention in their promotional materials. Casinos keep these machines purely because long-term regulars demand them and threaten to take their business elsewhere if management removes them. This explains why newer casinos hide Double Diamond cabinets in corners or near the bathrooms, rather than giving them premium floor space. And speaking of machines casinos wish you'd avoid, the next one on this list created so much frustration for management that internal memos specifically addressed the problem. Machine number 3, Blazing Sevens. Machine number 3, Blazing Sevens quarter and dollar denominations. This is another visually unimpressive cabinet that serious players recognize immediately. The RTP ranges from 90 to 92% on the dollar denomination, with remarkably consistent volatility that keeps your balance from experiencing dramatic swings. Former floor supervisor James Chen spent 7 years watching player behavior and could identify experienced gamblers by a single habit. They sat at Blazing Sevens for hours, while tourists cycled through the flashy video slots nearby. Chen explained that the win frequency approximates 1 hit every 6 spins, and the multiplier symbols appear with enough regularity that you're constantly seeing 2 times and 3 times wins that rebuild your bankroll between bigger payouts. Well, what separates this machine from modern equivalents is the simplicity of bonus features. There's no elaborate trigger requiring 150 spins of base gameplay before you qualify for free spins. A player Chen monitored tracked 20 separate sessions on this machine and averaged 3.5 hours of play per $100 wagered. Surveillance reports Chen reviewed showed Blazing Sevens machines consistently recorded the longest average session times in his casino's entire slot inventory, which created a problem management didn't anticipate. The internal data revealed something casinos desperately want to hide. Players left these machines happier than those who played newer games, even when both groups lost comparable amounts of money. But the Blazing Sevens players felt they'd received entertainment value and frequently returned the following week. The newer slot players often felt cheated and didn't come back. Chen accessed profit per machine calculations showing Blazing Sevens generated less revenue per square foot of casino space, but the repeat business factor complicated the simple math. The game doesn't create artificial excitement through sound effects and visual explosions that subconsciously encourage players to increase their bet sizes. You sit down, you play your $1.50 per spin, you hit wins often enough to stay engaged, and your money depletes slowly rather than evaporating in 15 minutes of bonus chasing. Before I reveal machine number 4, I need your help understanding which of these machines you've actually encountered at your local casino. Now, these are the exact games casino hosts never mention when they're explaining their promotional offers, and there's a reason for that strategic omission. Let me know in the comments which machines from this list you recognize, and make sure you subscribe because the information I'm sharing comes from years of insider documentation that casinos would prefer remained confidential. Now here's a machine that several former employees admitted they personally played during their breaks. Machine number 4, Jacks or Better Video Poker. Technically, this isn't a slot machine, but you'll find it in the slot areas of every major casino, and the distinction matters less than the math. With perfect strategy, Jacks or Better delivers an RTP of 99.54% with extremely low volatility that creates near-even gameplay over extended sessions. Former casino manager David Reeves admitted something during his exit interview that the casino's legal team tried to suppress. He personally hated video poker machines because educated players understood the mathematical reality. The pay table displays every possible payout right on the screen. There's no hidden algorithm, no mysterious bonus trigger weighted toward failure, no programming secrets determining your fate. A former dealer, Patricia Gomez, documented her own playing sessions and recorded a 4-hour period during her evening shift break where $50 provided continuous entertainment. She hit pairs and 2 pairs with enough frequency that her balance never dropped below $35 during that entire session, and she cashed out with $41 remaining. Internal casino memos. Reeves saw specifically encouraged management to relocate video poker machines to less visible floor positions, preferably near the sportsbook or in alcoves where casual players wouldn't stumble across them. A regular player Reeves knew bought in for $100 on these machines and played for 5 solid hours before cashing out $87. The skill component creates genuine engagement without requiring you to risk more money. And that's exactly why casinos have systematically reduced video poker availability over the past 15 years. And if you think video poker represents the peak of player-friendly programming, machine number 5 might legitimately surprise you. Machine number 5, Buffalo, the original version, not Buffalo Gold or Buffalo Stampede. This revelation might shock you since I specifically warned against Buffalo Gold in another video, but former slot technician Marcus Webb explained something that changes everything. The original Buffalo and its newer variations operate on completely different programming architectures. The original version runs an RTP between 88 and 90%, with moderate volatility, but the balance between risk and reward differs dramatically from what IGT implemented in subsequent releases. Webb spent 4 years maintaining both generations of these machines and accessed comparative performance data that revealed the fundamental distinction. The original Buffalo triggers its free spins bonus every 80 to 120 spins on average, compared to over 200 spins required for Buffalo Gold. Even more significant, the retrigger rate during free spins follows the older programming philosophy where session length mattered more than creating viral jackpot moments for social media. Webb documented a player who hit the free spins feature 7 times during a 3-hour session on a $120 buy-in, and that frequency simply doesn't occur on the newer cabinets. The original Buffalo emerged during an era when slot manufacturers programmed games to keep players seated and comfortable, rather than chasing the massive progressive jackpots that look impressive in casino advertising. Internal comparison reports Webb reviewed showed that players on original Buffalo machines experienced sessions lasting twice as long as players on Buffalo Gold when controlling for identical bankroll sizes. Casino floor managers noticed this discrepancy in their monthly reports, and it created an uncomfortable conversation at the corporate level. The data suggested that original Buffalo maintained steady floor traffic and player satisfaction, while Buffalo Gold generated higher per-machine revenue but lower repeat visit rates. Webb shared something that reveals casino priority evolution. His regional manager received internal reports specifically suggesting that original Buffalo cabinets encouraged the kind of grinding, steady play that built loyal customer bases, but the newer versions were optimized for the tourist market where players visit once and management wants maximum revenue extraction during that single visit. The original version provides enough volatility to maintain interest without the extreme swings that destroy bankrolls in 90 minutes. You'll experience losing streaks, but the bonus frequency and retrigger potential means recovery happens often enough that your $100 might last an entire evening instead of disappearing before you've finished your second cocktail. But here's where the insider information becomes even more valuable with machine number 6. Cleopatra, the IGT Classic. Former slot host Jennifer Martinez worked the high-limit area for 6 years and noticed a pattern that contradicted everything casino marketing promoted. The regulars who actually won over time, the players who walked out ahead more often than they walked out broke, consistently played Cleopatra for extended sessions. The RTP sits between 88 and 90% with low-medium volatility, and the free spins feature triggers every 100 to 150 spins with a 3 times multiplier that transforms modest base game wins into meaningful recoveries. Martinez tracked player behavior as part of her comp evaluation responsibilities and documented regulars who averaged 4 to 6 hour sessions on this single game. What makes Cleopatra exceptional for bankroll preservation is the base game win frequency involving the scarab symbols and Egyptian-themed icons that appear in paying combinations often enough to slow your balance depletion between bonus triggers. Martinez accessed documentation showing a player who made $75 last an entire Saturday afternoon, 7 full hours of entertainment that included 3 meals comped based on his theoretical loss calculation. Former slot technician Robert Hayes stated something that explains why this machine appears so frequently in casino inventories. Cleopatra cabinets required cash refills less often than comparable games, despite experiencing high play volume, indicating that money was circulating back to players rather than flowing exclusively into the drop box. The mathematical breakdown Hayes provided shows that with $50 bets, a player needs only 8 to 10 winning spins per hour to essentially break even when factoring in the free spins awards that arrive every 90 minutes on average. Internal casino placement data Martinez revealed that management positioned Cleopatra machines near entrances and main walkways, specifically to keep players inside the building longer, not to extract money quickly and send them home angry. The ancient Egypt theme provides enough engagement to maintain interest without the sensory overload of modern games that subconsciously encourage faster play and increased bet sizing. Now we're getting to machines that former employees said they'd recommend to their own family members, and machine number 7 reveals why casino management sent corporate memos questioning floor profitability. Triple Red Hot 7s surprised even veteran employees when internal analysts examined the actual performance data. The RTP ranges from 92 to 94% on the dollar denomination with remarkably low volatility that creates steady, predictable gameplay. Former casino analyst Linda Richardson accessed profit reports that shocked her supervisors. This machine's hold percentage ran so low that several casino properties across her company's portfolio removed Triple Red Hot 7s entirely from their floors. Richardson explained that the hit frequency approximates 1 winning spin every 5 attempts on the simple 3x3 layout that minimizes the bet sizes players typically choose. What makes this machine exceptional is the complete absence of bonus features, which sounds negative until you understand the psychological mechanism it eliminates. There's no free spins chase, no progressive meter slowly filling, No elaborate trigger requiring hundreds of spins before you qualify for a bonus round that might award 12 times your bet after you've spent $80 trying to activate it. A player Richardson monitored logged 30 separate sessions over 3 months and averaged 4.2 hours of playtime per $100 buy-in. If the documentation she reviewed included internal communications, where her floor manager received direct questions from corporate headquarters asking why these machines remained on the casino floor, when competitive analysis showed newer cabinets generating 40% more revenue per square foot of space. The mathematical reality supports what employees observed. With a 94% RTP and winning spins arriving every fifth attempt on average, a $100 bankroll theoretically provides 1,566 spins at the 75-cent minimum bet level, and that's before accounting for the wins that replenish your balance. And Richardson accessed internal calculations presented during quarterly reviews showing triple red-hot sevens generated 40% less revenue per occupied square foot than the average slot machine, and finance executives questioned why floor space wasn't reallocated to higher-performing cabinets. Former employee testimonies Richardson collected revealed the answer. Long-term regular customers explicitly threatened to move their business to competing casinos if management removed these machines, and the lifetime value calculations for those loyal players exceeded the short-term profit optimization that newer games provided. The simplicity creates an environment where excitement-driven bet increases simply don't occur with the same frequency as modern video slots that build tension through animated sequences and dramatic sound effects. And speaking of machines that casinos reluctantly maintain despite profit concerns, machine number 8 demonstrates why some employees called it the pension machine. The 9-line double diamond represents the multi-line version of our number 2 machine, and former slot director Thomas Anderson used that exact phrase, pension machine, because he watched retirees play this game for 6- and 7-hour stretches without depleting their fixed-income gambling budgets. The RTP operates between 91 and 93%, with low volatility distributed across all 9 lines, and even with maximum line activation, the minimum bet hovers around $2.25 while producing wins every 4 to 6 spins. Anderson documented average session lengths of 3.8 hours on $100 starting bankrolls, which created problems when his profit analysis team calculated revenue generation. The frequent line hits across multiple positions mean your bankroll depletes at an extraordinarily slow rate compared to modern multi-line games, where line configurations seem designed to create near-miss patterns that encourage continued play without actual wins. Anderson's most compelling documentation came from his own mother, who played 9-line double diamond exclusively for 18 months while keeping meticulous records that Anderson later analyzed. Her average loss per 4-hour session measured just $12, and some sessions ended with small profits of $5 to $15. Internal profit analysis Anderson reviewed during budget meetings placed these machines in the bottom 15% for revenue generation across his entire slot floor inventory. Former technician Kevin Morse explained why this happens. Older multi-line games were programmed before what he termed line manipulation became standard industry practice, where modern games create the illusion of action through frequent small line hits that don't actually return your full bet amount. 3 separate former employees mentioned this specific machine when Anderson surveyed his departing staff about which games they'd personally play if they were gambling, and that informal poll revealed more about machine programming than any marketing material casinos produce. But wait until you hear about the final 3 machines on this list, because the next 2 games prompted former employees to use phrases like too generous and programmed before corporate profit optimization. And those descriptions reveal everything about how casino floor dynamics have evolved over the past 2 decades. Machine number 9, Texas T. Former slot attendant Angela Morrison spent 5 years working the main floor and heard countless player complaints about bonus features that promised excitement but delivered disappointment, yet she never heard those complaints about Texas T. Morrison called this the fair bonus game because the pick'em feature during the oil drilling bonus actually felt random rather than predetermined toward low-value outcomes. The RTP operates between 89 and 91% with medium volatility and a bonus structure that triggers every 120 to 180 spins. And here's what separates it from modern equivalents. The picks you make during the bonus round consistently award decent multipliers rather than the weighted toward failure programming Morrison observed in newer games. But former technician Derek Santos revealed documentation showing that Texas T bonus rounds carried less mathematical weight toward the minimum award amounts compared to games like Buffalo Gold and Lightning Link, where internal programming heavily favors the smallest possible bonus outcomes. A player Morrison monitored documented 50 separate bonus activations over 6 months and averaged 35 times his bet amount per bonus round, while modern games Santos serviced averaged 12 to 15 times bet on their bonus features. Internal testing data Santos accessed allegedly showed Texas T bonuses paying 2.3 times more than comparable modern games when controlling for triggering frequency and base bet amounts. This mathematical advantage creates a crucial dynamic for bankroll preservation. You need fewer total spins between bonus triggers to maintain your balance, because each bonus actually returns meaningful value, rather than the token awards that barely cover the cost of the spins you invested reaching the feature. Morrison accessed floor reports showing casino management specifically replaced Texas T cabinets with newer alternatives, because the bonus rounds were paying what one internal memo described as excessive amounts relative to player investment. And that phrase alone tells you everything about whose interests modern slot programming serves. And this next machine shares a nearly identical story that former employees consistently mentioned when discussing games that were too honest for current casino economics. Machine number 10, Lobster Mania, the original version. Former floor supervisor Richard Palmer claimed the lobster picking bonus was programmed before predetermined outcome systems became the industry standard, and his technical documentation supports that assertion in ways that explain why Lobster Mania 2 and 3 feel completely different to experienced players. The original version runs an RTP between 90 and 92%, with medium volatility and bonus triggers arriving every 80 to 140 spins. But the picking feature itself delivers what Palmer called authentic randomness in the award amounts. Documentation from former technician Sarah Chen showed original Lobster Mania bonus rounds averaged 42 times the triggering bet amount. And Chen specifically noted that Lobster Mania 2 and 3 were redesigned with what internal development notes described as more profitable bonus mathematics. A player Palmer tracked recorded 40 sessions over 5 months and averaged 3.6 hours of play per $100, while leaving with an average of $72 remaining, and those numbers simply don't appear in modern slot performance data. Chen accessed internal development communications that allegedly contained specific directives to make the sequel versions more profitable through adjusted bonus award distributions, and the phrase more profitable explicitly means less favorable to players when you understand casino economics. While the mathematical breakdown Chen provided explains why original Lobster Mania preserves bankrolls so effectively. Frequent bonus triggers, combined with consistently strong bonus awards, mean your base game losses recover regularly, rather than accumulating into devastating deficits while you chase a feature that pays $15 after you've invested $60 reaching it. Palmer emphasized something crucial that players miss. Only the original Lobster Mania cabinet contains the older programming architecture, and the sequels represent the modern casino philosophy where bonus excitement serves marketing purposes rather than providing genuine value. The interactive picking element creates the psychological satisfaction of skill-based gambling without requiring you to increase bet amounts to access that engagement. And that's exactly why newer games moved away from this design philosophy. This last machine represents such an extreme example of player-friendly programming that former employees said it's essentially disappeared from most casino floors, and if you actually locate one, multiple insiders stated you should play it exclusively. Here's why machine number 11 became what former casino hosts called the employee secret, and why finding it now is like discovering something casinos desperately wish had never existed. Machine number 11. Full Pay Deuces Wild Video Poker. Former casino pit boss Martin Cruz called this the employee secret during his final staff meeting before the property eliminated these pay tables from their entire video poker inventory. And 3 other former workers used nearly identical language when describing why they played this specific game during their meal breaks. The return to player percentage reaches 100.76% with perfect strategy implementation, which means you're not fighting against mathematical disadvantage, but actually operating with theoretical positive expectation over sufficient hands. Cruz admitted something during his exit interview that the casino's legal department tried to keep confidential. Employees throughout his property played full-pay deuces wild specifically because long-term winning was genuinely possible, rather than the fantasy that slot marketing departments sold to recreational players. Former casino manager Patricia Vasquez explained why this pay table existed at all when it violated every principle of casino mathematical advantage. The game attracted skilled players who brought friends and family members that didn't execute perfect strategy, and those accompanying players donated enough money to offset the theoretical losses from the expert-level participants. A documented case Vasquez reviewed involved a former dealer named Robert Chen, who tracked 18 months of playing this exact game and paid for his monthly grocery expenses from the consistent small profits he accumulated. And Chen's meticulous record-keeping showed average hourly win rates between $15 and $20 when playing dollar denomination with optimal strategy. Former analyst Jessica Torres broke down the casino's reasoning behind offering this seemingly irrational game. Internal reports showed that full-pay deuces wild players spent an average of 4.3 hours on property per visit compared to 2.1 hours for typical slot players, and those extended visits generated revenue through restaurant spending, additional gambling on other games, and the network effect of bringing other customers into the building. But Torres accessed confidential communications revealing corporate directives in 2015 that systematically removed full-pay video poker variations from most properties after profit analysis, determined that the skilled player advantage outweighed the secondary revenue benefits. She found internal memos calculating that expert players were extracting between $15 and $20 per hour from these machines, and finance executives considered that leakage unacceptable regardless of the peripheral benefits. The current status makes finding this pay table equivalent to discovering casino gold, according to former slot host Michael Patterson, who stated that perhaps a dozen properties nationwide still offer full-pay deuces wild in their video poker selections. The critical requirement former employees universally emphasized involves studying perfect strategy before attempting this game, because the positive expectation only materializes with flawless decision-making across thousands of hands. Former technician David Martinez provided specific verification advice. Examine the pay table carefully before inserting money and confirm you're looking at 9-6 jacks or better, or the full-pay deuces wild schedule, because casinos now offer reduced pay variations that look similar but eliminate the player advantage through subtle payout adjustments. So there you have it. 11 machines that former casino employees revealed will stretch your money the longest based on actual internal data rather than marketing promises. Notice the pattern connecting every game on this list. Older programming architectures, simpler feature sets, lower volatility mathematics, and design philosophies that prioritized player session length over maximum revenue extraction. Former employees across multiple properties and corporate structures consistently mentioned how casinos have systematically moved away from these player-friendly games toward higher profit models that optimize revenue per square foot, rather than customer satisfaction and repeat business. This information isn't about winning jackpots or beating the house mathematically. It's about making your entertainment budget last hours instead of minutes, and understanding which machines actually provide value. Armed with this insider knowledge from people who maintained, monitored, and managed these games for years, you can make informed decisions that casinos would prefer you never discovered. If you found this information valuable, subscribe for more insider casino content that hosts and marketing departments never discuss in their promotional materials. Let me know in the comments which of these 11 machines you've actually encountered at your local casino, because their availability reveals everything about whether that property prioritizes customer experience or pure profit optimization. And if you want to know which new machines you should avoid completely, then check out my other video where former employees expose the worst offenders currently dominating casino floors. This is the information casino hosts will never share during their comp evaluations and player development conversations, because educated players make decisions that serve their interests rather than the casino's quarterly earnings targets.